is up, my beautiful people? My name is G-Vans and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about the new album by Joell Ortiz and King Crooked entitled H.A.R.D. This is the new collab EP by Joell Ortiz and King Crooked, who was better known as Crooked I back in the day, which comes to us about only a few months since Joell Ortiz's album Monday that came out back in August of 2019, and King Crooked's album entitled Gravitas with the producer Bronze Nazareth, which came out back in December of 2019. For those of you that don't know, Joell Ortiz and King Crooked were a part of a rap group back in the day entitled Slaughterhouse. And they worked alongside two other rappers known as Royce the 5'9" and Joe Biden. And although I feel that all four of them sounded really fucking great together as Slaughterhouse, I always felt that King Crooked and Joell Ortiz just had this really powerful chemistry together, because every time they were on a track together, they would always fucking kill it, in my opinion. So after all these years, Joell Ortiz and King Crooked have finally reunited together to do what they do best: deliver an 8-track EP full of great storytelling, some really dope producers, and overall really great underground rap bangers. One big argument that I see a lot in hip-hop, and I'm sure a lot of other hip-hop heads see, is the argument between West Coast versus the East Coast. And I think this EP might be the project to sort of put that argument to rest for a while. Joell Ortiz and King Crooked grew up miles apart from each other. You know, Joell Ortiz grew up in Brooklyn and King Crooked grew up in Long Beach. And although they both have realized that they grew up miles apart from each other, you know, one is from the West Coast, one is from the East Coast, they both did, grow up experiencing the really unfortunate conditions of poverty, injustice, racism, just everything in the book that you can think of that people of color go through when, you know, they're not as privileged as white people. On this album, Joell Ortiz and King Crooked do exactly what the title says, and that's go hard on every single track, while at the same time sharing a few hard childhood memories as well. Joell Ortiz represents the East Coast with his wisdom and premium storytelling, while King Crooked represents the West Coast with his insane lyrical abilities and his overall aggressive flow. I think one smart thing that they did on this album is have two tracks where King Crooked shines on his own and another track where Joell Ortiz shines on his own. For example, King Crooked takes the spotlight on a track entitled Caddy Bump, and that one is a pretty much like old school Long Beach, California song. You know, it sort of gives you that California love kind of vibes, and overall, you know, that song just sounds like something that would have came out from the Death Row records. You know, I actually don't know if Death Row is still a thing right now. You know, I would assume not, but yeah, that's like the sort of vibe I got from it. Joell Ortiz also takes the spotlight on a track entitled Wolves, and that one has that more of that classic Brooklyn flow. You know, to me, it kind of sounds like the type of shit that Jay-Z used to do back in the day when he first started out. And overall, I feel that that song is really fucking nostalgic, and it really takes you back to the time where fucking Brooklyn and New York in general were at its fucking prime when it came to hip-hop music. The production value on this album is really fucking amazing, especially because it consists of a lot of talented producers like Apollo Brown and Illmind and just many others that have came together and contributed to make yet another modern boom bap classic. I really loved hearing yet again the production value of Apollo Brown and Illmind, especially because these two have been on many different past projects with Joell Ortiz. You know, back in 2018, Joell Ortiz and Apollo Brown created the Mona Lisa album, and back in 2015, Illmind and Joell Ortiz created the Human album. And, you know, just overall, they've always found a way to work well with each other, and I'm just really glad that he brought those two producers together for this project. Joell Ortiz and King Crooked become super vulnerable throughout this whole album, as they both share stories of witnessing violence growing up, you know, growing up without money most of their lives, and just overall create a really powerful project that can give anybody hope, especially during these really rough times where recent unfortunate events happened with George Floyd and, you know, all that mess going on right now. This whole project just feels super nostalgic for me, at least. You know, like I said before, I was a really big fan of Slaughterhouse, and I still really am, and this album just gave me back all those memories of when I heard Welcome to Our House for the very first time. You know, that album came out in 2012. I think I was about, 12 years old at the time. And, you know, I just really enjoyed that album so much. You know, it was one of the best albums that I've heard of at the time. And, you know, it was just unfortunate that it didn't make as much money, or that it didn't, you know, succeed as much as everyone wanted it to, which eventually led to them going their own separate ways. And although they're obviously not doing that bad for themselves as solo artists, you know, this album just has me wondering, you know, what could have been if they didn't like split up and go their separate ways, you know, like what if they were like still like doing shit right now together as Slaughterhouse and as solo artists, you know. It just really like, it's just like one of those really like big unfortunate things, because like I said, Joell Ortiz and King Crooked have really great fucking chemistry together, and you know, they always did back in Slaughterhouse, and you know, they still have the same like really dope energy in this project. And you know, it's just unfortunate because I would have definitely have loved to hear fucking Royce and Joe Biden on this album, you know, just one last time. And you know, it's just unfortunate because I don't think we'll ever get to see that happen ever again. I'm still hoping that maybe one day there'll be a day where Slaughterhouse, you know, like get back together just for one more album for old time's sake and set their differences aside. But until then, I am actually really glad that we at least got this project with Joell Ortiz and King Crooked, who in my opinion were some of the best like memorable rappers from the whole Slaughterhouse group. Overall, this album is the perfect example of what a lot of old heads in hip-hop really miss when it comes to the hip-hop genre, and at the same time I feel that it's something that a lot of like modern like rap fans will really enjoy. You know, every track on here is really great, you know, you will never get bored throughout this whole album, you know, and at the same time it is just an 8-track EP, so it honestly like isn't a big like waste of your time to hear this really short EP. So yeah, I do think it's a really dope album. It's one of the best albums to come out this year. You know, it's again living proof that lyrical rap is making a fucking comeback this year. And I highly recommend these two extremely underrated rappers to each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy my review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that bell down below, all that good stuff so you don't miss a single one of my uploads whatsoever. And don't forget to stay happy.
I always been athletic. Some people say this rap is a sport. Walk them cleats on this field, drag your ass on this court. You enrolled in Sunday school, you can slack if you want.